Forgot to turn on my camera. There we go. No lights. Lights on in the back. Where's the lights? One. Two. All right. How y'all doing? Welcome. There we go. So I had no power for a bit of time today, which was weird. Oops. Yeah, so about, I want to say 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, power went out. It's now 4 o'clock. It just came back on, which is fine because we have a generator. And, you know, we have like right there, maybe 10 feet from my desk is our generator, a Generac generator. And right there, about 10 feet from here at me is, I don't know, 500-gallon, 1,000-gallon propane tank underground. And so that provides, gas for our gas stove, as well as the fireplaces, but also for the generator. So the generator could potentially run for, I don't know, months, weeks. And at first I was worried, like, oh my God, it's a hell of a racket when it's on. Is this going to bother all the neighbors? And the first time it happened, it was late at night, and I was investigating how do I turn it off, because we don't really need a generator. We can live without power for a while, especially late at night. And so it looked like I had to go outside and like press a bunch of buttons on the generator. And as soon as I step outside, there are generators in all directions that are all on. It's like, if I turn mine off, it's not going to make a lick of difference. And so I've not bothered with it since. But pretty much the entire island was out, which is, I think, 26,000 people. And gradually pieces of it have been coming back online over the entire day. So I think we're for about 6 or 7 hours today. And actually our internet was fine the whole time. I just had no power. No power to the house. I mean, the generator provides power. It doesn't provide power to the like the pool pump, and it turned out our septic system wasn't powered. So we got to fix that. And what else was not? Oh, the stove and all that type of stuff. Not the stove top, but the oven and steam oven and all those things. Warming drawer, that was all powered off. And the TV, I have that hooked up to a UPS, but I guess it's too much of a draw for the UPS, so that didn't work. Yeah, ready for the zombie apocalypse. If any zombies are on Bainbridge, they're not. The problem is, well, they're not going to get into this house. They probably, no. I think our windows. I guess they could break through the garage, but we have these. So yeah, maybe we die pretty quick. Or actually, no. If you're attacked by a zombie, are you killed? Or I don't know. Anyway, what's going on? Any questions? I'm gonna open up my laptop. Bring that over here. Plug in. Let's see. Oops. Checked. And I need my water bottle. The Shadow Man, what's that? I haven't heard of that. Gray aliens are Shadow Man. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's see. Close some windows here. Don't need a levelator on here. Anything else going on here? Oh, I don't need anything there. Let's close a bunch of windows. Oh, that's the wrong button. I just heard about Abacus AI. Anybody know anything about him? Chat LLM. I don't know much about it. I need to look into it a little bit. Somebody had a comment on the Discord, on the Ollama Discord, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's discord.gg/Ollama. And they asked, because I posted a video. There's actually a video that I posted on, it was somebody, okay, so somebody on the Discord was asking about what is the reliable way of generating, like having a JSON output. And a lot of people keep pointing to, oh, well, it's not possible because grammars aren't part of, you can't use grammars, and so therefore there's no reliable JSON, which is absolutely ridiculous thing to say. It just means they haven't played around with it. And so just try to demonstrate, okay, well, what models are you saying has a problem with JSON output? So they mentioned a model, and I created a video that says, okay, well, obviously that's not true because here it works just fine. So yeah, I just created a video that demonstrated that point. Ollama, I don't know if it has a lot of bugs. There's definitely a lot of issues in the GitHub, but most of those issues are not bugs, but rather support. Basically, people, I would say, having helped manage the GitHub for a long time, I would say 40 to 60% of those issues are really just people didn't read the documentation, and it's use errors that maybe the documentation isn't clear enough or whatever. They're not bugs. Those things work just fine, and it takes a while to go through all that when you're trying to build a product. So that's a bit of a problem. A lot of people don't know about the Discord, so that's definitely an issue. Well, let list out one of the bugs that you have found. Usually, if they've got so many, because there's so many issues there, it's hard to see which ones are like actually issues versus just support requests. And they're slowly going through all those things, gradually getting to them. There is a lot of activity on the GitHub for user reported issues. It's unfortunate that yours are not being addressed, but they are doing a lot of work there. It's a problem with having a GitHub repo that is, a lot of people are looking at it. So I think I can't remember how many stars there are now on it. What is it now? 71,000 stars, 5,000 forks. So there's a lot of people. And then what's it? GitHub download stats. So Ollama. So it's been downloaded. How many times? 10.2 million times. So it's a lot of people are working with it. If you have, the best way to get an issue seen is to mention it in the, once you reported an issue, don't go straight to PR, because that's just just generally in open source projects. You always want to create the issue first and get somebody out from the team to recognize that issue. And that means, contacting the person or some of the folks on the Discord, making sure they understand that exists, and so eventually somebody can help out. But if you just report an issue and then stand back and don't do anything, it might not. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it might not ever get seen, or it might not get seen for a while. Also, having an issue where a lot of people are interacting with it. Ideally, you want somebody who is on the team, but you could also get, if they see an issue has a lot of comments, that also helps bubble it up to the top. So repeat the question for when answering for relay, and for those of us just listening. Well, a person just asked, suggested that Ollama has a lot of bugs, which isn't really true. There is a lot of issues which are not the same as bugs. And this person is saying that they've reported several bugs, but nobody's reacted. And so I'm basically saying, here's generally, why is there any bug report if nobody reads? I didn't say that. I said there's a lot of, often people will report things as bugs that are not bugs, that are mostly, again, I'm not saying in your case, but mostly a case of not understanding the documentation, not reading the documentation, not always, but often. And so somebody has to take the time to say, well, here's actually the solution to the problem. And the best way to, it takes a while to get to be added to the team. I don't know if there's anyone, I think there have been a few people that have been added to the GitHub who are outside of Ollama, but you really need to get one of those people to see the bug, the issue. And I think it's pretty certain that why did nobody mark this non-bugs as non-bugs? So yeah, why do people report bugs that are not bugs? Great question. Everybody thinks that their issue is most important. And if you don't, there's the whole idea of you don't know what you don't know. And so if you don't know about a feature because you haven't looked at the documentation, or you don't, one of the big problems is that documentation is only in the GitHub repo, and for a long time there was no link to the documentation on the main Ollama webpage. Now finally there is at the bottom, but for a long time there wasn't. But can you point to any one of these issues that you've experienced? We can take a look right now. I'm just kind of talking about things in generics without, I haven't seen any of the issues. Do you have the issue number? And we'll take a look right now. And not that I have any say, but at least we can take a look. That'll be a great use of our time. Okay, about 5.3. What about 5.3? If you have any of the issue numbers, that would be helpful, and then we can take a look at exactly what the question is, or what the problem is. Oh, okay, sorry. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. No, take your time. Anybody else? What else is going on? Hello again from Melbourne, Australia. One of my, I don't know, I always feel weird when people try to say, they see a foreign word and they insist on saying it in the way a local would say it, rather than, well, we're speaking a different language. Okay, yes, Australians speak English, but it's a little bit of an accent. And so often I hear people will say Melbourne the way an Australian will say it, and it always just comes off as like, okay, an Australian will say that, but you're not Australian. Come on. Melbourne, whatever the right pronunciation. I mean, if you're trying to speak, if you're going to do all of your speech as an Australian, great. I mean, if you want take on the Australian accent. Awesome. I once asked when I was in Australia if there were different accents depending on regions, and they seem to say that there aren't. I don't know. Is that true? That there aren't really regional accents for? I mean, like there are in the U.S. I mean, there's definitely regional accents. There's Boston has a really strong accent, and down where I lived in Florida, Miami not so much, but further north where I went to school, a heavy accent. And down in LA, heavy accent. I mean, sort of heavy accent, depending on where you're from in LA. Okay, great. 5-3, 4673. Cool. So let's go to Ollama. Again, I like your content and talking style. Perfect. Just saw that you're streaming. I want to say thank you for the good stuff. Well, thank you, Max Nietzsche. Okay, so issues. And you said 4673. Let's see what this is. 5-3. Okay, so I would first off try this just in Ollama. You know, right now you've got, is this an Ollama issue or is this an Open Web UI issue? It's not clear because right now you're saying I'm using this other thing that's not Ollama. So does this happen if you're just using Ollama? And if it is, say that in the issue. I'm just offering helpful advice. Let's see, same issue, especially with RAG. Okay, so this is with 5.3 mini and medium. Okay. Hello from Ireland. Just hopped in to say I'm a big fan. I love your work. Thank you. Can you see Ollama providing fine-tuning support? Yes. I've tried fine-tuning and converting the adapter to GGML, but I find it a bit messy. Yes. Oh, I totally agree. I know when we originally started the project, very early on, you know, we thought that the one of the key things that we wanted to do was make fine-tuning easy, right? I mean, it's still kind of a pain to deal with. You know, either you're stuck with using these horrible notebooks. Why can't somebody just write an application rather than forcing you to go through the pain of using a notebook? And the notebooks are very specific without really going into detail about how to adjust it for other platforms. And there needs to be an easier way. And at some point, I feel like it was in October, November timeframe, Llama CPP had a branch where they supported fine-tuning right in Llama CPP. It was only Llama 2, only on a Mac, only, you know, had a lot of limitations. And it was also very rough. It was really hard to get working right. I wish that having fine-tuning in Ollama was always one of the original goals. Make all the hard stuff easy. That's, you know, whenever you build a startup, you're trying to make the hard stuff easy. And that is definitely one of the hard things with these models. So, okay, so going back to this. Complaining about lack of responses in any open source project definitely doesn't help, but yeah, that's the, I don't know if okay, so let's go with Ollama.com, phi3. Do they call it out as German being a good, or other languages being generally an accepted thing? I have not looked into that. I know there are some models that have been called out as really great in for other languages. What was it? ASA, ARA, something like that. But generally, so I don't want to, the complaining that, I mean, I get the frustration that it feels like nobody's looking at your issue, and your issue is the most important issue to you. I totally understand that. Does the same kind of problem happen with other models? Is this purely a phi3 thing? And so, and if it doesn't happen in other models, then it points to, rather than Ollama, maybe an issue with the model itself. I would try using that same only in phi3. So is that problem with Ollama or with phi3? And then trying that same model, the same model file that you download from Ollama. I mean, this is, I realize this is a lot of stuff to do, but anything to help make your case is helpful. Trying those same GGUF files that Ollama downloads and trying it in a different platform and making sure that trying to recreate your scenario in that other platform, whether it's like LM Studio or something else, and see if you have the same kind of issue. And that would definitely, if you had, for the exact same model file, if you had the same issue or one issue in Ollama but not in LM Studio, well, that makes it totally obvious that the problem is in Ollama. And then in the Discord, look out for any users who have a green name. And so that is, how do you find people by member list? Okay, so here are the maintainers. There's Bruce, there's Dan, Jeff, Patrick, and I hate the fact that Mike did this. He's got his name as 4, I don't know, or 6 dots, but that's Mike Yang. I would suggest pinging Jeff Morgan, Jay Morgan, and I mean the squeaky wheel gets the, what's the phrase? Squeaky wheel gets the something, or often whoever's complaining loudest is going to get. Don't complain in a nasty way, but try to share the frustration in a friendly way. Squeaky wheel gets it. Is that? I feel like the person being annoying is going to get as long as you're not super annoying. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You want to be loud, but not too loud. It's kind of this delicate balance. And I think, but I think that's an approach I would take if I wanted my issue dealt with by the team, is start reaching out to folks on the team. Another, Bruce, I don't know if Patrick's a great one to, Patrick's, if he gets interested in the problem, he'll definitely try to solve it, and he's a great person to solve it. Bruce is awesome as well. He will, looks like maybe Jeff is on and thought, don't contact me, so he signed off. But I don't think he is. But Bruce would be another great person to reach out to. Again, don't pester them nonstop. but ping them every now and then to see what's going on with your issue, and that's going to point them to that issue. So I hope you can take that as constructive, helpful, and go from there. No. All right, what else have we said? Can we go over Ollama 0.1.41? Let's see what's, I'm gonna go into GitHub and go to releases. Oh, by the way, it's 4:44 right now. My wife said, how long are you gonna be in that room? When are you gonna come out? I said, well, when do you need me out? Let's make it 5:30. 5:30, come out, be part of the family again. Okay, so I got another 40-ish minutes. So what's new in 0.1.41? I don't really... I mean, there's not much that seems to be here. Full changelog. Is that really it? Why? I'm not sure why there's a whole... This must have affected a bunch of people. Fix issues on Windows 10 and 11 with Intel CPUs with integrated GPUs where Ollama would encounter an error. So this must have been... Was this a bug that's been there for a while? That's really the full changelog? That's really weird. Fixes 4776. That's a pretty recent issue. But he's gone into a lot of detail about what's going on. So maybe a little too much detail, but pretty early on, you see Jeff has joined in the conversation and tried to figure out what's going on, and that's usually the key. Get somebody from the team to recognize the problem, to see the issue and recognize the problem, and the best way to do that, I think, is to, in a friendly way, let them know in the Discord that you really care. Now, sometimes they're not going to be online, and you just have to, I think the best thing you can do is, I want to go into Discord. Just look at this. I came to this member list. Look in the member list, see which maintainers are online right now, and maybe ping one of them. Not based on any real information, but I would probably start with Bruce, and then maybe Patrick, maybe no, Bruce or Jeff, I think, are the go-tos. Michael is also, the other Michael is also a good one to M. Chang is a good one to, but I feel like until they tell me, don't ever say that again, maybe they're going to see this and think, don't tell people that. Don't share that secret with people. But I think that's how I would go about it. I hope that helps. Let's see. So so what's in 0.1.41? I don't know. I don't see anything. There's one, that's not it. It's one bug that was reported by one person. I don't know. I don't know who this person is. First issue? My blog from 6 years ago? I don't know who this person is. I wonder what happens when I call 1-865-776-9868. If that's a phone number. But that's the only thing I see in 4.1. It's all the other releases have been like a lot of stuff in them, so I don't understand that. Like 4.0 had fixed where run full width characters, Japanese, Chinese, Russian, were deleted at the end of the line when using Ollama run. Interesting. And fixed out of memory and incorrect token issues when using Codestrol on 16 gig max. There's no example. Finally, somebody's writing examples beyond what I was doing when I was part of the team. Okay, let's see what else. Has anyone tried Llama FS? I like the idea of using AI to organize files just out of curiosity. Llama FS. Wait. That came up with that. Llama FS. Okay. A self-organizing file system. That doesn't sound dangerous. Well, that's kind of interesting. I say kind of scary, but interesting. I don't think I want to run it on my machine just in case, but it looks pretty cool. Anybody else had any experience with it? Great to see a vid in the future on your experience with real-world large-scale agent models. Many examples out there today for small implementations, but never really see large-scale solutions. I mean, I think the problem is large-scale solutions are probably written for a company, and a company doesn't want to reveal, in many cases, how they actually do their business. And so it's kind of hard to find a large-scale solution. Languages other than English will experience worse performance in regards to 5.3. Okay. Just noticed you were streaming one. Oh, I think I might have already said that one. I'd say I really enjoy the channel and the way you present information. Thank you very much, Ahmed Adan. Oh, I lost. Maybe try 5.3 and AI Azure Studio. I don't know if it's free though. I have similar issues with 5.3 in both German and Chinese, Mini in F16, Medium in Q8. Okay. It's open source, not paid support. You need to be patient and understand a lot of people do this in their own free time. Sort of. So all the people on the core team of Ollama are paid by the company that's around Ollama, and so they're all working. I mean, they all get paid, get insurance, get all the things, but that said, there's a lot of stuff to do, and gradually the team will grow. For now, they're keeping it pretty small. Hugging Face Open Leaderboard is stuck at 81.22 overall score for months, actually 4. Do you agree we're plateauing with LLM's performance? I agree that leaderboards maybe are plateauing, but since I've said many times that all the leaderboards, benchmarks, all these things don't believe a number on them, because they're always, I've never seen any benchmarks that are actually accurate. They're often wrong. So I don't understand. I mean, I understand why people want to see that, this model is better than that model, but I think all the leaderboards just get it wrong. So if there's a leaderboard that's been stuck, okay, well, maybe people are realizing that it's garbage. I found out that max tokens value about 1,024 tokens behave like in my case. Okay. It'd be interesting. Oh, on your issue, did we see how much memory you have on your? So we don't. So there's a few things to if you've changed the context window supported, then listing out the model file that you're using. So what's the num context value is helpful. And if you have done that as well, also include how much memory, both like RAM and VRAM, do you have? What kind of machine are we talking? I mean, you just say AMD Linux, but that's not really a lot of detail. So what, how much memory are we dealing with, and what context have you set? If you set a context larger than what's actually supported by that particular model, that causes weird issues as well. Wheel increase regarding my squeaky wheel gets the whatever. Okay, I guess that's right. Anyway, what I was trying to say was the person who's screaming loudest is going to get the. I'm sure there's a phrase for that. Somebody needs cleaning up 7 issues from unrelevant reports. Yes, I know. Or did we already talk about that? Yeah, I know. Perfect thing to get involved with and help out. Yes. Although some people will go, there have been a few times where I think before the repo got locked down a bit further, there were people going in and like approving a PR, even though they have no say. I mean, it really needs to be one of the team members that approves a PR, and if somebody else approves a PR, it's just kind of confusing because then it could get merged, even though it doesn't work. Have you done any testing with a local model in your code editor, like what's the right pronunciation? Codestrol, with VS Code /cursor. So I was using. In fact, I did a video. I did a few videos about using local models. I don't know, what was I using? Was I using Star? I think I might have been using StarCoder. The problem with all these local models is the context window is fairly small. And even if, I mean, there's some context windows that are pretty large, but then it requires a lot of memory on your machine. And I mean, I have 64 gigs on this M1 MacBook Pro, M1 Max, M1 Pro, whatever. The best M1 that you could get for a MacBook Pro. And, but, for the larger context, I don't have enough memory. I edited some videos earlier, and I realized I was looking down rather than looking at the camera when I answer questions, and I gotta fix that. Sorry. I need a little post-it note saying, "Look at the camera." Make that bigger. So, I think. What am I looking at? Yeah, local model. I think, yeah, I was definitely using some tools, using Twinny as a plugin for VS Code. That was definitely the one that got the most coverage. But, Continue, since I last looked at it, they've gotten the tab completion, which is great. I haven't looked at it since then, but they're doing some really cool things, and the folks behind it, amazing people. I met one of them at a conference run by, or a meeting run by HeavyBit in San Francisco. That would have been 6-7 months ago. But I haven't looked at Codestrol, but I'd like to. And pretty recently, I switched or started paying for, I mentioned it here before, Super Maven. It's $10 a month. It is a online model, but it's amazingly fast and a huge context window, so it supports really your full project. And the suggestions are just like amazing, spot on with my variables in there, and it's like so much better than anything, even, you know, better than Tab 9, better than Copilot or any of these others. It is spectacular. You know, if I totally recommend trying them out on, you know, your projects. There's a free plan, but you really want to pay the $10. You know, just try it out for a month, pay the $10, and if it's not good, get rid of it, because it is, as long as you're online, it is amazing. Okay, so just tried embedding model with Ollama today. Nomic embed text and MX by Mixbread embed large. They're kind of slow with very low GPU, very slow. I would love to know what kind of machine you're running that on, because I rarely saw, you know, for doing an embedding, you know, if you do the chunking, first you chunk up the source doc. So assuming you've got a source doc with, you say, 10 sentences or 5 sentences, you know, so what's that? Probably 50, 100, you know, 100, 200 words. So maybe 300 tokens or so, roughly. I saw times of like 20 milliseconds, usually on my M1, for doing that embedding. And I mean, it's just incredibly fast. I don't know if the embedding models use GPU. I'm not sure if that's, I think it might be CPU bound. I'm not sure. But for Nomic Embed, I mean, it's blazing. The Mixbread one is definitely slower and not as, or about equal in quality, but Nomic Embed is really great and super, I mean, as I say, 20 milliseconds per, 20 to 40 milliseconds per chunk. Now, if you're trying to do a really big text, really you should be breaking that down, because there's so many different concepts that are in one big document. So really split it up into smaller pieces. That way, when you do the RAG search, you're going to get much better results. And then it's as doing all, how many words are in Word Piece? Whatever it was, like 50, 80,000 words. I don't know, it's a massive book. I mean, it took about 40 seconds, 50 seconds. I think that's what I got in that video. To do that enormous document, splitting up into smaller chunks. Has anyone used external GPU with Ollama? I have a mini PC, so no internal GPU for me. So the question or the answer there is that external GPU going to be one of those supported NVIDIA cards or AMD cards? If it's not, it's not going to work. If it is, probably going to work. But yeah, that would be a great question for anybody else. Has anybody else on here who is listening to me right now, or is listening to me sometime in the future, have any of you used Ollama with an external GPU? Okay, so RAM, 64 gigs, 24 gig VRAM. So I would put that in the, so mastering, I would put that in the issue so you can provide more context to what's going on. And context, how did you set that context? Sometimes people don't set it correctly. I've definitely seen that be an issue where if you've modified the context window, you're using a different, something's weird. So I've seen that in some model files. I doubt that would be the issue here, but just providing, you know, how did you reach that in the issue that we have on screen. Sorry, I've got your issue on screen all this time. Let's see, let's go to here. Okay. Do you miss working in the Ollama team? Kind of. I mean, yeah, it was magical. It was magical time. I definitely wish that I was not removed. I don't know exactly why. And so yeah, I miss part of it. That said, I really enjoy making these videos. And I really enjoy, yeah, I love making the videos, making these, having the time. You know, I've been wanting to do this, to have the time to make videos and do nothing but making these videos. I've been wanting to do this since I first posted my first YouTube video, which is 16 years ago, 17 years ago. I mean, it's been a long time that I've been kind of dabbling at this. And every time that I have, you know, a couple weeks, I see this burst of response and people are interested. And then, you know, I have to go back to my normal job. And now I'm totally focused on it. And I have been since January. And it's amazing. And I've seen the number of views is just going way up. I mean, I'm still, last month, the amount of money I made from YouTube ad revenue is about the same as what any kid going to the local McDonald's will make in about 5 days for the month. So if they work for 5 days and then take 3 weeks off, they're making the same as me in a month, and I'm working pretty hard at it. But that's, I mean, that was when I started, say in the month before I started in December, that number was basically what that kid would have worked for 45 minutes in a whole month. So I've gone from 45 minutes worth of McDonald's money to a week, which is pretty amazing. And I see that continuing to go up as I create this larger collection of videos. There's going to be more views, and it'll just, you know, recreate my salary that I had with Ollama. So I am able to do what I've always wanted to do, and I can only do that really because of the success that I had. The previous startup that I was at, Datadog, was a startup when I started, and oh, looks like I paused. So I love it. I love it. I love what I do. Looks like I paused for a few seconds there. Okay. Maybe an Elgato prompter. Now, if you have seen any of my videos in the past, you'll know that I grabbed the Elgato prompter and I made a review on the Elgato prompter because the Elgato prompter is complete garbage and nobody should ever buy it because it's made like crap. It's awful. But that was just my opinion. I have another teleprompter that I'm using right now. I'm reading from that right now. It's a little bit small at about 10 or 11 inch screen. The Elgato prompter is a 9-inch screen, or 9 or 8-inch screen. It's a lot smaller. It's tiny. I mean, I had it. I bought it. I got it back in November of last year. And within a week of getting it, I returned it because it is so flimsy and so awful. So right now I use, I've got a Lilliput 10-inch monitor in my teleprompter, but I'm planning on switching out to getting a bigger monitor, probably like a 24-inch monitor and a beam splitter glass that I, do myself. And that'll be like the main window, the main screen, and I'll always just look at that. So that'll be a whole lot better, and I'll get rid of this screen or move the screen over so I don't focus on it. It's too easy to focus on this. Now the only problem is I also have my glasses are what I don't know where is older glasses. They would have been like bifocals, but they have the transition between, because my eyesight is getting old. And so I have to kind of do this to get it in focus. I really need to update these glasses. They're starting to get nasty. Anyway, Max Nietzsche, RTX 3090, Ryzen 5950 under Windows. I'm not sure. Oh, tried them. Oh, your ad responding to the embedding thing. Weird. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I've experienced just, it's like, so how big are the documents that you're trying to embed? Are you trying to embed large documents all at once? And that will be slower than if you split it up into smaller pieces and then embed, those smaller pieces, a series of those smaller pieces. All right. Any GPU support, any Intel GPU support down the road? Apologies if this has been asked before. I just joined. So first it was Mac support, Apple Silicon support, because we were all on Apple Silicon machines from stuff that we were trying to do before with role-based access control for Kubernetes. We all had these MacBooks. And so we started there. And then we expanded on to NVIDIA, because while NVIDIA isn't as easy to develop for as Apple Silicon Metal, developing for Metal on a Mac is just so much easier than dealing with NVIDIA, which is so much easier than AMD, because NVIDIA has invested so much into software. I mean, I seem to remember seeing somewhere that NVIDIA has more software developers than hardware developers, because they spent, and AMD is kind of the opposite. They have more on the hardware and less of the software drivers. And from what I've heard or understand, Intel has even less support on the software side. And so they're trying to get people to use the Intel GPU, but it's slow going because for a long time they haven't provided the tools. So maybe at some point they will, but I don't see it happening anytime super soon. But I have no visibility into whether there's any work on Intel being done. I guess you could look in I don't know, would I be able to see it? I guess, looking around is probably going to be Daniel, who's going to work on, I assume, because Daniel's the one that added, I think he added AMD, and he also added Windows. I would think it would be him that would work on that, just because he's done similar things before. But I haven't seen anything about Intel, and it's all the development's done in the open, and so it'd all be here. I just haven't seen it. Okay, anyone else had DeepSeek V2 start replying in Chinese with no way to get English working again? No way to get, so you're saying that it switches over to Chinese, and then even if you start a new conversation with it, it's still in Chinese? Sometimes, whenever if you've got this specific context window and you go above, your amount of memory is above that context window, things start to get weird. And really, whatever tool you're using, or if it's the tool that you've built, needs to deal with memory in a novel way, where it removes some of that older cruft, so that you're always using the full context for what you're going to generate. And that's sometimes hard. And so if you have a long conversation, the best way to kind of reset that is to just reset the conversation, or get a larger context, which means having a lot more memory, which is always a challenge. Okay, thanks, and from Arnaldo Gomez. Thanks, Matt. I just knew your I just learned about your channel, I guess, but loved your content. Big hug from Brasilia. Sorry, you need to go now. Brasilia is a city, not the country. Brazil, right? Cool. I've not been to Brazil. I've been to other parts. Oh, uh-oh. Okay. What's the closest I've been to? I have to like open up a map because my South American, I don't want to look there. Let's go to Brazil. Brazil. So I grew up right over here off the coast of Miami. But I guess for the closest I've been is I have eaten plenty of Surinamese cuisine because I used to live in Amsterdam. And so Very easy to get that. But I've been to Caracas, so that's kind of close. I've been to Trinidad, so that's kind of close. And then, I've been to Buenos Aires and to the town right across the way here. You can take a little ferry boat from here to, God, what was the name of the town? It wasn't, I don't think it was Montevideo. It was some other little town. I don't know where I went. It was somewhere in Uruguay. I got my little cup of my little gourd with a. Oh, it must. Colonia. Yeah, I went there. That was when I was at OpenText, and we had our partner conference down in Buenos Aires 1 year. Great place. But oh my God. Oh, go to Buenos Aires and you eat, and my God, the steaks are, the plate will be this big, and the steak on the plate is like this big. Just like, goes over, and too much food. Stored knowledge. That's what it is. Stored knowledge. Okay. Thanks, Matt. I knew your channel. Okay. I read that one. We said something about respect. Oh, I really respect your passion, from Yassine Yassif. Well, thank you. It was an issue for it, but got closed. Others have reported similar behavior on Discord, though. Thinkverse. Oh, we're talking about this slow. Are we talking about the slow? No. What's the downside? Spending so time on questions is. I forget what we talked about. Okay, so I think we are talking about. Responding to Cyber's Holt. Okay. Mastering said something, but retracted. Hopefully it wasn't. Hopefully I didn't upset you. Great content, Matt. Keep creating more. Will do. Was it the time when they cut the work with you when Ollama Web UI had changed their name to? No, I think that was a completely separate. I know that we often had discussions internally about groups that were creating products with the Ollama name in it and Ollama Web UI. But there was also Ollamac, I think it is, and there's some other Ollama something. There's nothing. I don't think anyone in the team was really bothered by that. Sometimes confusing, but I don't think anyone made any demands to get that to change. I think Ollama Web UI changed their name to Open Web UI to ensure that they were not associated just with Ollama. Because didn't they add support for other platforms as well? So if you have Ollama in the name, it kind of implies that you're only an Ollama solution when they work with other tools as well. So I think it was purely on their side. They changed it to make it more inclusive, less exclusive of Ollama. Okay, now I have to look at what cybers. Anyone else had that? That was a DeepSeek replying in Chinese with no way to get English working again. Interesting. Progressives. Yes, those. Here. And they're always dirty. That's the other thing. I wish there was like maybe like a blower on this. It could just blow all the dirt off. Kind of like on my I feel like on the there's something on the GH5. This is I think the GH5, the camera I used to use. I now use an S5 2X as my main camera. I feel like that has something, when you turn it on, it like shakes the the sensor to like get rid of dust. I wish there was something like that that would get rid of the dust on my glasses. Somebody should work on that. I'm sure that wouldn't cost a lot because glasses don't already cost too much, at least in the US. And I tried to get an appointment for glasses, and even driving, there's places that do glasses here on the island. Well, that got worse. But even going down to Tacoma or into Seattle, the earliest I can get any appointment to get a new eye exam is, I think we looked at like October. It's just always, getting a new dentist visit is always 6 months. Doctor visits are better. Oh, that's probably somebody saying, get off of that computer. I hear somebody. Hi, Steph. What's up?
I need you to draw all of the stuff that we need for friend cake.
Friend cake? What's friend cake?
Friend cake is the kind of cake that we make for friends.
Okay. I'm gonna come out in like 5 minutes. Can I come out and help you with friend cake in 5 minutes?
No, we're not gonna bake it. I just need you to write what we need.
Okay, I can come out in 5 minutes. Okay? I can come out in 5 minutes. Okay, you're gonna stay there. I'll be done. New conversation. Oh, look up. Where were we? New conversation goes back to English, but no way from the same prompt to go back to English. Interesting. Yeah. Truly insightful and extremely helpful. Oh my God, that's awesome. Cypress Holt thinks I am insightful and helpful. Whew. Sucker. No, thank you. Also, greetings from Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville. Let's see. If I go to Knoxville, didn't they have the World's Fair? Yeah. I went to the Knoxville World's Fair. I went up into that thing. Feel like we went up into that tower. In 82. I must have been at, we used to go to, where was it? Chattanooga and Gatlinburg often. And I feel like I went there. Yeah, that's a while back. It would have been the time that we also went to Dollywood, or did Dollywood show up after? I think Dollywood was much later, but we also went to Dollywood. But it would definitely have been before I was still in high school through 88. So it would have been before that. Anyway, greetings from Knoxville. Hello, Knoxville. Well, I have everyone. Anyone messed with Open Web UI pipelines? No, I just learned about that the other day. I haven't not taken a look at it, but anyone else played with it? Also, Matt Williams, what did you do at Ollama, if you can discuss publicly? I was hired as an evangelist slash, whatever else you want to call that role, developer advocate, some people like to call it, or developer evangelist, except I didn't although Ollama is mostly a developer product, it wasn't just about developers. I feel like evangelist is a much more exclusive, whatever term, more appropriate term. And so that was my role, really, as an evangelist. I was the first evangelist at a company called Datadog when we were 30 people. And my job was to go to conferences and speak about what we do, or speak about whatever I felt like talking about. And also I created most of the early videos for Datadog. And and I was hired to do the same thing for infra originally. And yeah, I decided that role was not needed. Okay, I probably thought of laser or contacts. Yes, I've thought about it. It scares the hell out of me. But contacts, I've tried, but you have to get there's like the common kind of contacts don't work because they are not weighted enough to make sure because I have the astigmatism I have, if they are off a little bit, it gets fuzzy. And so they need to stay down. And so every time I would blink, they'd go a little bit out of whack. And so you'd like blink again to try to get them back. And then as soon as you blink again, they're off. And so it was very awkward and I didn't like it. Woof woof, yeah. Thank you for your work. In Germany right now, it's very late. Good night. Good night, Germany. I used to love going to, my time in Germany, I used to go to Aachen a lot. Mostly because Aachen is where the Walmart was. And Walmart was where you could get American toilet paper and other things that you had, like cereal. Getting cereal in Amsterdam, it was like American cereals, crazy expensive. Hello. So
Hi.
and so yeah, it was oh, looks like you can't see her. Perfect. They can't see you because they can only see from about here. Oh darn. Don't take my desk. No. Okay, I have to go very soon, but let's finish off the last of the comments. Greetings from London. Hello from London. I was born in Kingsbury, northwest London. So as you can tell by my strong English accent. You should visit Japan. Yes. I have, in fact, I got kicked out of the Starbucks at that's right the second or third floor above Shibuya Crossing, and because I had a camera out, and they said you can't have a camera. And when everyone's sitting at the counter drinking coffee at that Starbucks, they all had their cameras out taking pictures of that amazing crossing. I pulled mine out, said you must leave. I was kicked out of Starbucks in Tokyo. I was told that does not happen much, and it may have been because I had at the time it was a D800 with the 12 to 24 millimeter 2.8 lens, which has a lens barrel of like that, and people didn't like it. Greetings from Montreal. Well, okay, finally we got something where a place I haven't been. That's good. You get a lovely trip. Yeah, I used to way back when that I might actually wear a suit, which has been years and years since that's happened. It was always cheaper to get a round trip ticket to Bangkok and get a tailor to custom make a suit. Maybe the same thing about glasses. Well, probably not cheaper, but I could get yeah, that'd be good. I wouldn't mind doing another visit to Japan. But nothing like the Space Needle in Seattle. Also used to live in Washington myself many years ago, and we're known for Dollywood. Yep. Looks like my singer has gone away. That German toilet paper, that's over-engineered, I bet. Yeah, it could have been. It was, otherwise I would have gotten the Dutch toilet paper at the local Albert Heijn, but it was just kind of, you want certain softness in the right place. Yeah. Hi from Miami. I really enjoyed your Crew AI video, even though I'm a Python coder. I get a lot out of your demo of alternates to agent frameworks. Well, hello from Miami. I grew up on Key Biscayne, on Ridgewood Road, 45 Ridgewood Road, right by the elementary school on the Key. And I went to Florida. I went to Gables. So if you know Miami and Coral Gables, I went to Coral Gables Senior High, right by University of Miami. So I know it well. I hopefully, maybe we've even passed each other. Although I haven't been back to Miami since my high school reunion. I don't know, be 20 years, 30-year high school reunion. It's been a while. Last time I went, a friend runs the is it the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton on the Key, and got to stay there, which was really nice. Go on his boat, which was also nice. But I definitely don't miss living in Miami. I'm not meant for Miami, even though I lived there for the first 20 years of my life. Okay, so it looks like we are pretty much done with comments. My wife said, get off of there and come back inside at 5:30, and it's 5:29. So I think I should stop. So thank you very much for being here, everyone. And hopefully you'll continue watching videos. And let me know if there's any videos you'd like. Hopefully, woof woof. Oh, Jade, are you still in here? My dog left. I can't respond with a woof woof. But thank you very much for being here. I guess you heard the singing of my daughter. Thanks for all your videos you release. Thoroughly educational, awesome. A t-shirt with the Ollama logo would look great on you on these live. Yes, we had infra t-shirts made up, but I don't know if any Ollama t-shirts have been made up. That was one of the things I brought with me was, the contact for the agency that does the printing, as well as the actual company that and the whole process from Datadog. So the famous purple Datadog t-shirts, I brought that over to infra, but we never got around to doing Ollama t-shirts. I would love, as soon as there's an Ollama t-shirt, as soon as I see such a thing in the wild, I'm going to be begging for one, and Michael better send me one. So yeah, looking forward to more content. Me too. Thank you very much, Beme from Miami. And okay, it is 5:31. Oh my goodness, I'm probably in trouble. Gotta go. Bye-bye.